It's raining. You know, I went out today, my flowers are just blooming. It's amazing. When a little rain, I can water and water and water. And just let a little rain go. He's taking your picture. Look at that. You might want to see it sometime. She looks awful pretty today. I haven't seen her this dressed up. They have anything else?
Not much.
Like that's not very good.
You've heard of people.
I have a shirt.
I'd like you to have.
He's with me.
Well, he said he was pretty nice. Much
Oh, well, yeah, I think
Thank you, sir. I
so.
appreciate that. Of course, he's blind.
Dad, he's kidding me.
I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give myself coffee.
check out.
His glasses checked out. He doesn't wear glasses.
I checked out.
He's supposed to be better than average. That's me too.
No, basketball.
The only thing I need to sit, the only thing I need to lessons is occasionally
We saw every
just play on the play. I can do it this morning.
Would you like to
Now you
go
see
on
where I
camera
get
there?
my eyes.
Smile. Say a few things for posterity.
She's in there.
Hi, posterity.
Sometimes I watch basketball or playoff.
Yeah, the All-Star
I'm
game.
watching the other night. I don't even watch
She's standing right there. Oh, look, Tay,
I tell you
look.
what, those
Hey,
fans,
Mama. See, Mama? Where's
those
Mommy?
places that like LA, they're there every game starting, end season, whatever they got. I think it means something if they're working together.
I mean, Mama.
Well, it's a little bit like wrestling. You have to go to the games, get involved, get to know the players in the field,
Mrs.
or you don't enjoy it.
Give me a hug. Give her a big hug.
It took me a year or two before I felt
He's giving me lots of kisses.
Yeah, they.
Mother? Oh, that is.
Meemaw, do you recall how you two met?
Yes, I do. We met at a play party that we used to have in McLean County just about once a week. All the young people would get together, and then somebody would have a band, and they'd play games like, let's see, I can't remember what the names are. Where were some of those old games we used to play? You remember? Chase the Buffalo, and that one of them?
Yeah,
Chase the buck.
And they used to Skip to Maluma, Darling. Such songs as that. There were a lot of those old games that we used to play, different types of music. It's just a local band made up of the boys in that area.
Was he in the band or he just
No, at
was
that
there?
time he wasn't. At that time he was in the band, but when I met him he wasn't. But it was a play party.
What did he play? What did
He was in the
What
band.
did
did
he play? What musical instrument did you play?
Mandolin.
Mandolin.
He played the
know
band?
that.
I didn't know that.
It was my first year to teach school in McLean County.
So this is your first year teaching school?
I met
So-
him first year I taught school.
You were around, what, 22, 23 years old then?
I was 21.
21? And how old was he?
He was about 24.
About
23, 24.
Okay. Where are you originally from and where's Peepaw originally from? He from Knuckles, is that right?
Now, he was from Buell.
From where?
Buell?
Buell. Now where is
That's
Buell
in
exactly?
McLean County. And I was from Utica.
From Utica. Okay.
Now, he can tell you something about Buell probably more than I can.
Now, what did you do, Peepaw, out of school? When you first got out of school, what did you do?
First out of school,
Uh-huh. What did you do for a living?
farm.
You farmed? Were you farming when you met her? You were? Now, you were a police officer for a while. Was that right after you were farming?
Huh?
Was that right after you were farming? Did you move from farming to being a police officer? Or was there something in between?
No, I left a little bit after.
Quite a bit after that, honey.
Yeah.
Where did he go to business school?
Because
Then I went to business college and graduated it.
Where was that at?
Well, over there where we were, and some of it in Calhoun.
Business college is here in Owensboro.
And then there's a general business college over here in Owensboro. So I graduated from all of it, just what's it like?
He was on the police department about 14 years.
I see. Now, where did you go to school at, meanwhile, your college?
I went to Western.
To Western? Okay. Then you got a, what was it called in those days? Was it called Western Kentucky University or Western Kentucky Teachers College, or?
I believe it was Teachers College at that time.
And your degree was in education, is that right? Okay. Now, what did you teach in McLean County?
I was teaching in a one-room school and had they taught all 8 grades. One year they had the first, second, fourth, and fifth. And next year they had the first, third, fourth, and seventh, I believe is the way it was. Every other year, and if the children attended each year, they had access to both grades.
Oh, I see. Now, how long did you do that?
Year. We married just the day the school was out. It was out it was in March, and school was out that morning. We got married that afternoon.
When is your anniversary?
March the 20th.
March the 20th. So you taught school there 1 year.
1 year,
And then got married to Peepaw. Then what did you do after you taught school there? Did you teach school somewhere else?
Well, I didn't teach for a while, for quite some time after that. Worked at GE for a while, and I taught school here in Owensboro City School System. Off and on for quite a few years.
You worked at GE, what did you do there?
What did I do at GE? I worked in the exhaust department. I did just about everything that they did in the exhaust department except tests, even to doing maintenance work during the war when the men had to go to service.
Is that right?
There were 2 of us that they trained to work on the machines, and we did that.
I see. Now, while you were at GE, what was Peepaw doing?
At that time, he's on the police department, and he quit the police department and went during the war for some particular reason. I don't remember exactly what. Went to work at GE and worked about 2 weeks and stuck a grid wire in his finger. And from that time, he was allergic to everything there. That's when he had a bad siege of allergy. And that's all. That was his experience at GE.
I haven't got over it yet.
And after that, then he went in insurance business, different types of insurance the rest of the time.
Okay, now about what year was that? Do you remember? That he left GE and went into the insurance business.
Well, he had the allergy for about 2 years, and the only thing I can't think exactly the year, but it was during the war. If you remember what year
in the 40s, in the early 40s.
In there, And
well, what year did y'all get married?
Let's see, we observed our 60th anniversary this past March. So this is 91. 1931, Betty was born, oldest child was born 1932.
1932. I see. Now, name all your kids for me, their full names.
All right, the oldest one was Betty Jo, and her name now is Betty Jo Scrivener. The second was Cicely Ann, her name now is Cicely Pruden. And Patricia Jean, and Pat Witherspoon now. And then, of course, Joseph or Jitter Medlin.
Okay. Do you have a middle name, Joseph?
He has the same name as Daddy, Joseph Avery.
Joseph Avery, I see.
His nickname was Jitter. Everybody knew him as Jitter.
So his name is Joseph Avery. Now, what is your name?
Mary Elizabeth. That was Mary Elizabeth Doris, and that's Mary Elizabeth Medlin.
What were your parents' names?
Ira and Mary Doris. Mary Carrie Doris, to be accurate.
People, what were your parents' names?
Joe Medlin Sr.
No, wait just a minute, honey. Joseph Presley.
Joseph Presley, yes.
Medlin,
Joseph Presley, Medlin.
What was your mom's name?
Oma H. And it is Hester, but nobody called it that. They called it just O.H. That's the way we on it.
I see. So her first name was Oma?
Oma.
O-M-A?
Yeah.
I see. Now, when you first got married, where did you live? Remember where you lived?
We lived with his mother for 2 or 3 months, then we moved in an apartment out there at York. Lived there for about a year and then moved to Owensboro.
Okay. And where'd you move to in Owensboro? I mean, y'all have lived all over this town, haven't you?
Yes,
Do you recall exactly where all you lived?
That was during the Depression. And for a while, he wasn't employed because a man couldn't buy a job, let alone get one. But that was time, during the time I went to work at GE the first time. And then later on, he went to work for an insurance company.
I see. How long were you on in the insurance business?
But he was
All together,
Uh-huh.
about 14 years.
About 14 years?
Yeah.
So, did
What?
you?
no, that was why you were on the police department 14 years. You were in the insurance business
Oh, I was, yeah.
several years, but he was transferred to different states before we came back here to stay. He
Oh,
was
I
in
see.
insurance business in Nashville, Tennessee, and Florence, Alabama, in Huntsville, Alabama, and Lawrenceburg, Tennessee.
So
He
you
was transferred
you
around.
moved everywhere he went. Is
Yes,
that
we
right?
did.
I
Pretty
see.
close after you
Had
got
to, they wouldn't let you move, you didn't move your daughter, your wife.
What
Yeah, those two
what
babies.
insurance company did you work for?
That's from the North family. What in the world?
Well, the first one was,
She just sent them
what was it?
You worked for Life and
You know, I thought
Casualty,
maybe, I thought maybe that could be Bridget and somebody, I thought, well, you
Kentucky
don't have any
Central one
other.
time. I can't remember just which ones at each particular time. But most of the time for Life and Casualty. Until he went into business for himself in general insurance later on in later years.
When was that? When did you go into business for yourself in general insurance? Remember? Early 60s?
Let's see.
Where's Barry and
It was
Elisa?
after children were married that he went in business for himself, but I can't remember exactly when it was.
I can't either, but it was plenty of time.
And when did you go out of business?
He retired and he was 65.
65. So that would have been,
That's what we were.
let's see, what year would that have been? You remember?
What? Where? Huh?
How old are you now? How old are you now? Let's see,
He'll be
you're
85 this year.
you'll be 85, so
30,
20 years.
35.
35. So you'll be 85, so you're retired and you're 65, so I've been 71 is about the time that
That's the
you
time, Is that right?
got out of business.
That's when we moved to country. He didn't much want to go, but he went along with me. I wanted to go where I could have some horses and chickens. And
That's right. Where did you learn to ride horses at?
where I learned to ride horses? Well, when I was growing up as a youngster, that was about the only pastime we had was for horseback riding.
Yeah, that was just the last minute. They just came to, yeah.
I just liked the country. I grew up in the country.
Ask people about the time they rode the pig.
Vicky says you rode a pig one time, Peepaw.
He was the one that rode the pig, trying to catch it. Bob can tell you about
You remember
that.
that, Sarge?
Yeah, I don't remember too much about it. I know I did do it. It did happen.
Well, you didn't intend to.
Uh-huh.
You didn't intend to ride it, but you were trying to catch it. We were taking it to market, and
Yeah,
it got loose, and you grabbed a hold of it around the neck and rode it into a snowbank and got up, and his glasses were solid. I mean, it looked like he had big two white eyes. And I couldn't laugh then, but I drove down the road and sat there and laughed for 10 minutes. That's the funniest thing I ever saw. That pig was squealing and
May
Sarge
not be
Dolly.
exactly like that, or it is about like that, but it did happen.
Yeah, well, it did happen. I mean,
Yeah.
we were trying to get him in the horse trailer.
He was going to sell it.
Jim, weren't you there? You were there, or maybe it was Bill, trying to get that pig in the horse trailer to
No,
take to the market. I guess it was Bill overall. The three of them, the pig got loose, and Sarge grabbed him around the neck and rode him into a snowbank.
Peepaw, can you tell me about some of your experiences on the police force?
No, I couldn't get it to minute. What do you want?
I don't know. I remember you telling me one time that you got a scar on your nose or something like that because somebody.
You remember the time that there was, I think there was youngsters or boys that had taken some donuts somewhere and y'all tried to catch them and you hung your foot on the fence. That was kind of an interesting, and really the boys were hungry. After they got them, they took them, bought them something to eat, if I remember correctly, didn't you? It really wasn't anything, but they thought that somebody reported a robbery.
Well, one time we went after some lady to get some lady in the paddy wagon,
And she kicked your shins all over.
kicked you and scratched you.
Remember something about a wagon?
That was a strike at GE when they had a strike there years and years
I
ago.
don't remember what it was.
What possessed you to become a police officer?
Well,
Was it just
whose place did I take?
You didn't take any place. You remember we had came back here, you'd been in the insurance business, and they were taking applications and you were fortunate to
That's stopping.
friends that kind of pulled for him, and then they needed an officer. But one interesting thing about that time, they were supposed to weigh so much before they would hire him. Of course, he didn't meet that requirement. And I remember particularly that he put on extra clothing so he would weigh enough. But they wouldn't hire him unless they were great big men. And so he was heavy enough, but not because of his weight, but because of the extra clothes he had on. I thought that was funny. Misrepresented a little bit, but as hard as jobs were to find, you just couldn't buy a job really at that time. That you could understand why you did that.
One's asking all them questions and do things like that.
Have you forgotten that? I thought it was interesting.
Oh, mercy. Well, that's all I can think of right now. Maybe I'll come back and talk to you later, okay?
People don't realize how bad it was. Those of you that are younger, but you know, so many houses in Owensboro, the windows were closed, the houses were closed because people moved in together, families moved in together because wouldn't be any of them working hardly. And they did, I think they had what they call a soup line. We never did participate in it. I think, I don't know whether we were too proud or what, but we were fortunate to have existed without it.
So did you ever have to move in with relatives or anything? Did you all ever have to move in with relatives or anything? Or?
No, we didn't have any children. The babies were small. Now we did a time or two when we would come back and we could find an apartment or a house while we would stay with mothers, but as soon as we found an apartment,
I mean, it was rough moving from town to town back then. Wasn't
it was pretty hard. Of course, we usually got on train. That time we didn't have a car.
People were really good to us.
Yeah, everybody helped one another because everybody was in the same boat. People that had money lost it, and when the crash came, then everybody's on equal level. Just a lot of people were like that.
What type of insurance did you sell people? Was all kinds of insurance or life insurance?
We got all kinds.
Got all kinds. With all the.
More or less like a debit, you know, he would collect a debit every week, go back and collect insurance every week. And when he was collecting in Alabama one time, people there worked at cotton mills. And one cotton mill was on strike and the other wasn't. And he used to collect insurance and he would give it back to them to buy bread because they wouldn't have anything to eat, but they would pay their insurance and do without food. And a lot of times he'd come home and hunt up something that our children wasn't using. They never had an excess because we weren't much better off than they were. Then he would take
We'd take them
that with the
back to
children.
them.
Those were hard times.
Was it in Huntsville, you say?
That was in Huntsville, Alabama.
Huntsville, Alabama.
Did you, any places you lived you liked better than the others? Of all the places you traveled around, where'd you like the best?
Huntsville, Alabama.
Like that the best?
People are nice.
Really?
It's a good place to work.
You like Nashville real well because
Nashville, I did that. Yeah, I did that. I like Nashville too.
when he had to walk to Devon, he was out around in the Montrose area, out there around the Coliseum and all that. It was a real nice area, but it's a large territory because much of Nashville at that time, you would be in the city and then wouldn't be for a little while, you'd think you were out in the country. And he had to walk all that areas every week to collect insurance money. And we lived in rented an apartment from a lady that she lived by herself and didn't have, if she had a refrigerator, she didn't use it. And she didn't have any income except what she got from those that rented apartments from her. And I can remember her frying hamburgers, and the coolest place she had would be in the bathtub. So she would wrap them and fix them and keep them in the bathtub a day or two. And there were two girls that lived next door to us, and at that time, women didn't work a whole lot. A lot of people didn't think women should work. And these two girls, many times didn't have food to eat. And I remember especially one Thanksgiving, because we happened to be fortunate enough to have a Thanksgiving dinner, and I invited them over to eat lunch with us. And they appreciated it, but they're back behind the thinking, I didn't mind sharing with them, but I couldn't understand why they felt it was a disgrace to work. Because I had been brought up where any thing that was right, regardless of what it was good. A job that would provide your needs was better than
They were
what
telling
else.
them it's all right, only it didn't seem like it was all right.
Well, that was the way they thought about it, and that was their privilege.
Well, when you all were traveling the country there with your insurance job, did you ever teach anywhere then? Or
Ever do what?
did you ever teach anywhere then?
No,
or-
I taught here in the city most of the time.
Now, after Vicki tells me that for a while you taught kindergarten, was that right? When she
I've
was
been
in school?
I taught kindergarten and preschool a long time.
Where was that at?
I was in kindergarten at Bellevue here in Owensboro, the original kindergarten. I taught there, and then I was over on Highway 60, a little Presbyterian church over there in kindergarten. Then I went from there to preschool down to Settle, and I was there several years. I don't know just how many. And in between all that, I worked was employed for Dr. Copeland for about 15 years. I was working for him when he passed away.
What did you do for him?
I was anything that he asked me to do. I was really just worked in the
manager?
office, but he didn't have a registered nurse at that time, so anything that I could do under his supervision, I did, from giving shots to bandaging, lacerations and things like
Gave me
that.
shots for all that. You gave me shots for all that.
Yeah, I did, but that was after that when it was necessary. And most of the grandchildren, I vaccinated them. They didn't love me too much for that, but they tell me about it once in a
No,
while.
it would hurt.
So I've had a pretty active life all my life.
Well, did you also work for Anderson's or some other
I worked
department
at
store?
McAtee's for a while.
McAtee's. Is that a similar store kind of like Anderson's or a department
It was
store kind of
just a
like?
department store.
Where was that at? Downtown somewhere?
Downtown, it was at that time, it had changed names at time. I think it was Alden's one time. But I've always been very fortunate. I don't remember many times of ever asking for a job. Most of the time, somebody would call me or would want to know if I was available. That's what happened during the time I was teaching. I would teach in the winter, and then I'd go back to GE and work in the summertime, just because I really enjoyed it. And then maybe, I remember on one occasion, I'd been working there and getting close to fall, and one of the superintendents here in Owensboro asked if I wouldn't consider coming and teaching, I believe it was second grade in one of the schools here. And I said, well, let me think about it. And so I made a decision, and I taught school that year. And,
Where was that at? What school was that at?
You asked me so many questions, I can't answer all of them. I don't remember which school. I taught, most of my teaching was at Seven Hills and Lincoln. I did most of my teaching those two schools. Other places, when I wasn't teaching, I did quite a bit of substituting. But anytime I'd substitute, I stayed employed practically anytime I wanted to. Very fortunate, very grateful.
Well,
What, they gonna build a house?
He's still asking them questions.
Hey, Patsy.
Remember?
Vicky, take a picture.
You can open it where it's mine. Yeah, you get to open it.
you
It's
own
yours.
It's yours.
Hey, Tate.
I gotta hit this thing.
Do what?
What you going there behind?
Oh, no, we put all those together.
Hey, Dad, it's from Bob and me, but it doesn't have a card because I hope you got our card in the mail. You got the card, remember, Dad? Yeah, careful. Well, that's okay. Well, you try to hold her in your lap. And she wants to get out. You don't have anything in your hand.
I hope this thing
You might have to help me with Mom.
got a 12
You hope it's got a what? $12 million.
12 cylinder motor.
You have to turn the motor on. You have to have a 12-cylinder motor.
I like to have a camera that makes these the dates.
That's the tax paper in it.
You're all scared to do that on the date to take the picture. It can be forever.
Ooh, this Just a ball.
There you got
Meemaw, what was it you were going to tell Clint?
Well, I tell you
Uh-huh.
how proud I was of my family, all the children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren.
That's Meemaw up there. I don't know if you can see it because you're standing behind that door, in front of that door.
You may need to help him. That's Addison.
I gotta get started for you. You sure need to go. Yeah, hand him another one over here.
Video now. It's a volume turned up there.
Those are nice.
Look at
Hank
that
can come. Extra large name on them before we take
Yeah,
that
well,
there.
extra large, Dad, you blow twice in that one.
They are nice. Betty gave you those.
You have a big wad in your pocket.
What, Betty?
Extra large, you can blow 2 or 3 times on those. You can wipe everything with those.
They smell.
Probably. Here, I'll take your box. There's another one.
I know.
There's a card on top of it. You got Betty's card yesterday.
Taller, too.
You're well grounded.
Oh, I don't think
I look funny with little tiny feet like that.
What a wonderful father.
Let me take this.
I mean, her shoes.
Oh, Father's Day.
They just don't get rid of all her shoes. That's really strange. She doesn't have a big foot.
Michelle?
She's about my height.
Betty, if these have to be ironed, I
hope they don't.
they're 100% copper.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't think about that. They just look big. They may have to be.
Well, that's right. 3 of them, I don't mind that.
I didn't think about that. It's a lot of reading. You can read it later if you like. 'Cause it does.
I'll read it.
Because
You got more time.
yeah, it's got a lot of
I can
reading in
listen.
it.
Now, put your hamsters inside of them.
Well,
Put your name on them.
Those are pretty
Yeah, they're nice thick ones.
don't have shoes either.
But they may have to be ironed. I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
But you know, if you take them right out of the dryer, if you use them a lot, you don't need to. If they're just for look.
What a crown.
She's enjoying herself over there.
Okay.
Boy, look.
Isn't that nice? That'll go with your blue breeches. Hold it up, look at it.
Hey.
Man, that is nice.
Certainly
Certainly nice.
Long, y'all.
Stacey gave you that now.
That's from Gemini.
Certainly good.
Gemini. Okay. Here's a card too. I'll take this. Okay.
Pat already gave you hers. They gave you the hat.
Pat gave you the hat you wore
Yeah,
today.
that's a cute hat too. Where is that?
Good job.
Oh, there it
Just
is.
taking pictures.
Gotta get that on.
Yeah, you'll have some cards.
Here's his hat.
Get out of the way so I can take a
That's for Pat and Tom.
Put it down a little bit.
Just a minute. That's the way. We're gonna take your picture in your hat because this is what she gave you.
Okay, look up there. You have some cards. You gathered up somebody else's this morning. Yeah, you got plenty of cards.
You're right, you're not video.
I can give them to
It was sad.
And now,
Here you go. Yeah, more. I don't.
Y'all are
I never did see
think a lot of me, or you think you do all this and I'd leave.
We think a lot of you. The older you get, the more you get.
What's that?
The older you get, the more you get. See, you get some every year. It just keeps mounting up.
you like to have a birthday or Father's Day every year.
Don't blame me. Oh, that's from you? That's from Mother.
This is for mother.
That's from your wife. Your sweet patootie. Turn it over on the other side.
Oh, Bob.
Can you tell what the numbers are on that one?
Who's gonna put this clock up?
We are.
Hang it up. And I got the battery, but I left it on the first. You
Probably
got
got
a good battery?
Is it, what was it, AA?
And Pat, you have a double A battery?
Double A battery.
Mother has
I
one that
had
she
one in
left.
some other purse to bring with me, and I forgot it. Change purse and put it in there.
She's having a ball.
That's kind of hard to get off, huh?
Michelle, when you get a little older, you can babysit and make a whole lot of money.
I don't have any for your mother, except
When you get to be
they're
about
all black.
12,
You're
you can
black.
babysit.
She's got a,
These
On the way.
And there's a
You want
zoom
your
on it
daughter
from your,
to pick
this
up
thing
the
has
other
a zoom. Zoom in and zoom out.
I have my battery right in here, huh? Oh, that one's already up there.
I think it's
You can
round.
get up there, that's all you have to do.
That's a 9 volt. That's a 9 volt.
No, I can't use that one, it has to be a round one. Double A. I've got one at home, but I just forgot it.
Well,
When you're talking about this,
his clock, he's got that clock up there.
Getting all the fathers in.
and she said it
If you
takes,
can't find it, you can get it.
that thing will probably run it.
If y'all wanna die so I can wear this head,
Oh,
you know?
what the heck?
Gosh, you know that.
See, look, do we have one that maybe?
Probably.
You can wear it just sitting there.
Yeah, he did.
Ooh, that's
You know,
kinda
when it was so hot, not
That's
yesterday,
Dad. I
but
gotta get Clint in. Where is
the
he?
day before.
Oh, there he
You
is.
can invite him.
There's a dad.
There's
Your
a
first
dad.
Father's
I mean,
Day.
the sun shines on that.
Hey, don't get so close, please. Let me get on the car. I'm gonna
Brad,
break
you're not a
that
father.
thing.
Hey.
Not a
It's nice to meet you.
Can't give out.
Oh, it's fussing. Why is it making that? Just because I'm too
Lay
close.
that in your body
Yeah.
until we get there. I've got a battery for it.
It's all up for
Had my stomach full in.
You're running the tape. Are you sure you're not running? Oh, you're running.
How's that?
I'm getting them tossing.
That's sure gonna need a good cloth.
Yeah, you can read it.
Oh, Mom. You feeling right now? What's the
But it all, Vicky, it'll do this, right?
We're getting the ball.
Right
The red light.
there.
But you still have it recording.
I mean,